Welcome to English Mirror's question answer session. These questions are taken from PSC Collegiate exam conducted in 2015 for the post of lecturer in English. Let's begin. First question. The pilgrims in the prologue to the Canterbury Tales represent a cross-section of dash English society. And the answer is option C, 14th century. The pilgrims in the prologue to the Canterbury Tales represent a cross-section of 14th century English society. The Canterbury Tales is a collection of 24 stories that runs to over 1700 lines written in Middle English by Geoffrey Chaucer between 1387 and 1400. It was during these years, that means in 1386 Chaucer became a controller of customs and justice of peace, and in 1389 clerk of the king's work, and it was during these years that Chaucer began working on his most famous text, the Canterbury Tales. The tales are presented as part of a storytelling contest by a group of pilgrims as they travel together from London to Canterbury to visit the shrine of St. Thomas Becket at Canterbury Cathedral. The two beautiful maidens in Protalamion are the daughters of Dash. And the answer is option B. That means the Earl of Worcester. The two beautiful maidens in Protalamion are the daughters of the Earl of Worcester. Remember, Protalamion, the commonly used name of Protalamion or a spousal verse in honor of the double marriage of Lady Elizabeth and Lady Catherine Somerset, is a poem by Edmund Spenser. Remember, Edmund Spenser, one of the important poets of the Tudor period in England, or you can say Elizabethan period, published in 1596. It is a nuptial song that he composed that year on the occasion of the twin marriage of the daughters of the Earl of Worcester, Elizabeth Somerset and Catherine Somerset. Lines from the sonnet. To this I witness, call the fools of time, which die for goodness, who have lived for crime. These lines are from Shakespeare's sonnet, dash. 18, 29, 57, 124. And the answer is option D, that means 124. So these lines are from Shakespeare's sonnet 124. Remember, Shakespeare's sonnets are poems that William Shakespeare wrote on a variety of themes. When discussing or referring to Shakespeare's sonnets, it is almost always a reference to the 154 sonnets that were first published all together in a quarto in 1609. Remember, the publisher was Thomas Thorpe, that you have to remember. Next question. The number of lines in Donne's A Valediction Forbidding Mourning is dash. Answer is option B, 36. The number of lines in Donne's A Valediction Forbidding Mourning is 36. Remember, A Valediction Forbidding Mourning is a metaphysical poem by John Donne, written in 1611 or 1612 for his wife Anne before he left on a trip to continental Europe. A Valediction is a 36-line love poem that was first published in the 1633 collection Songs and Sonnets, 2 years after Donne's death. Remember. Next. The curfew tolls the knell of parting day. The lowing herd winds slowly over the lea. These lines are from a poem by. Answer is option B, Thomas Gray. These lines are from a poem by Thomas Gray. Remember, Elegy Written in a Country Churchyard. Elegy Written in a Country Churchyard is a poem by Thomas Gray, completed in 1750 and first published in 1751. Remember. The poem's origins are unknown, but it was partly inspired by Gray's thoughts following the death of the poet Richard West in 1742. According to Francis Bacon, the chief use for ornament in studies is in dash. And the answer is option C. Remember the complete statement. Studies serve for delight, for ornament, and for ability. The chief use for delight is in privateness and retiring. For ornament is in discourse, and for ability is in the judgment and disposition of business. The servant of Faustus who uses his master's books to learn how to summon devils. Answer is option A, Wagner. Remember, the tragical history of the life and death of Dr. Faustus, commonly referred to simply as Dr. Faustus, is an Elizabethan tragedy by Christopher Marlowe, based on German stories about the title character Faust. It was written sometime between 1589 and 1592 and may have been performed between 1592 and Marlowe's death in 1593, remember. Two different versions of the play were published in the Jacobean era several years later. The university which Hamlet studied, and the answer is option A, Wittenberg. The tragedy of Hamlet, Prince of Denmark, often shortened to Hamlet, is a tragedy written by William Shakespeare sometime between 1599 and 1601. It is Shakespeare's longest play. Remember, set in Denmark, the play depicts Prince Hamlet and his revenge against his uncle Claudius, who has murdered Hamlet's father in order to seize his throne and marry Hamlet's mother. This is a plot of the play. Next question, Captree is a character in, answer is option D, the School for Scandal. Captree is a character in the School for Scandal. The School for Scandal is a comedy of manners written by Richard Sheridan. It was first performed in London at Drury Lane Theatre on 8th May 1777. Remember that. Next question. The tiger is dash stanzas in length. 4, 6, 8, 9. And the answer is option B, 6. The tiger is 6 stanzas in length. The Tiger is a poem by the English poet William Blake, published in 1794 as part of his Songs of Experience collection. It is one of Blake's most reinterpreted and arranged works. Literary critic Alfred Kazin calls it the most famous of his poems, and the Cambridge Companion to William Blake says it is the most anthologized poem in English. So thank you for watching this video. If you like the video, please share and subscribe.